Of all the dragons that live in this world, well, the ones we face today are possibly the most dangerous of them all. But the peculiar thing about these dragons, in particular, are their sleeping habits. You see, they hibernate throughout the entire year until the month of October, where they wake up and immediately start causing havoc. This is obviously a strange pattern, but also even stranger, they broke their pattern this year. I don't know why they broke this, but I do have a few theories. But we'll get to that later. First, we're going to go over some of the major dragons that come in this clan. And first is the Skeletal King Wyvern. This dragon is well known throughout many cultures, and what really makes this dragon so dangerous is its range. Sightings of this dragon have seen throughout England, France, and even one unlucky incident all the way in Kentucky. I don't even know how that happened. The dragon's speed must just be incredible. Anyway, this dragon is probably one of the, not going to lie, the scariest that I've ever come across. And we still have not been able to capture it. In case you're unaware, my job essentially is to capture dragons and put them on an island where they can't hurt anyone or get hurt themselves. But some dragons make this job much more complicated than others. This is one of those times. Any attempts by other groups to try to slay the dragon, or us to try to capture it, have been failed miserably. There was even one incident where someone tried to decapitate the dragon, and its head did indeed come off, but it just put it back on. I haven't even found much of a way to actually weaken this dragon, but this will still be one of the main dragons upcoming on the list. Just priority top. Now, despite clearly being the most powerful dragon in the clan, it appears not to be the leader of the clan for some reason. Instead, the leader is a strange two-headed dragon, but it's not two-headed in the traditional sense. You see, most two-headed dragons fall more into the Hydra category of dragon, but this one doesn't. I don't exactly remember the name at the moment, but it's this one. The dragon is on the tail of it, and that obviously makes things difficult for this dragon to function. However, this dragon also has another anomaly, where whatever head is in charge seems to depend on its emotional state. If it's feeling more positive, then the frontal head takes main control, but in any situation where there is any negativity, the rear head is the one that takes the control. Again, I don't even know why this dragon is considered to be in a position of leadership, when clearly the Skeletal King Wyvern is much more powerful. Either way, this dragon is not a high priority to capture simply because of how weak it is. It's on the smaller side when it comes to dragons, and I felt like if we put in the effort, we could probably stomp it out within a day. However, it does not really appear that much to people. because this does not make it as much of a priority for us to capture. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about the dragon. It's a fairly simple dragon. You know? Now, if you've gotten one thing from this whole thing so far, is that the dragons that come in this clan are very differently appearing from each other, but none, perhaps, is as different as the Spectral Zuberator. The Spectral Zuberator is one of those well, you know, it's a Zuberator. The whole thing is just kind of the dogs, pretty much. Dogs with wings. I honestly don't even know why they're classified as dragons, but they are, I guess. This one has a few unique qualities that separate it from the average Zuberator. For example, it can turn invisible, most of the time it's transparent, and its nose glows, which is a very weird anomaly. And also, while most of these dragons exist to try to terrorize humans, this one actually seems to be friendly to humans. Hence, it's high on our capture list, but for a different reason than most dragons. Hence, it's simply because we would have captured it by now if it hadn't been in a close relationship with the Skeletal King Wyvern. Now, this next dragon, I am very ashamed to admit, we have captured several times before. However, it always manages to escape. This is the Patchwork Poisoner, a name that will become relevant soon, trust me. This dragon is more aquatic in nature, which is necessary due to one of its abilities, but we'll get to that later. This dragon has been captured multiple times, but always manages to escape using one of its two tricks. The first that it will use is its poisonous bites. This dragon is very poisonous, and will often lure people into a false sense of security before biting them. This, of course, would give it the opportunity to escape again. And luckily for us, though, throughout the many times this has happened, and the victim has always seemed to wake up in hours or days. Still frustrating, though, that this dragon has managed to escape 3 times this month. Anyway, its other trick is much more defensive than offensive. If it ever is near water or drinks water, which it has to do because, you kind of need to drink water to survive, if it does that, then its mouth can create a thick fog that it can use to obscure the view of the people around it, giving it an opportunity to bite them, and then, giving it the opportunity to escape. Again, like I said, this happens a lot, far more often than I am willing to admit. And as much as I have warned our gods not to let it bite them, it always seems to not work. Recently, this dragon has started hanging around with the Skeletal King Wyvern, which, of course, has made it very difficult to capture, due to the Skeletal King Wyvern being a powerful dragon. And, the opportunity for us to actually catch them is very rare. Like I said, they sleep all the way through the year except for 1 month. So, the window of time that we actually get to catch them is very, very slim. Priority, medium. Now, as you may remember from the previous part of this file, these dragons normally hibernate mostly all year, but for some reason this year they stayed out all the way through December, which is not normal for them. There has been a few theories on why this occurred, but the main one that I came up with, and therefore subscribed to, is that they were in a fight with another dragon group. It's not uncommon for groups of dragons to get into fights with each other, and so I believe this is what happened. Mostly because we observed their actions, and this happened to take place. Specifically, they sent one dragon, or 3 dragons, depending on how you decide to count, and sent them to kidnap the main leader of the other dragon clan. This, which several people on my team have called the Hazardous Hydra. I haven't come up with a better name to disclaim them yet, but, the Hazardous Hydra managed to sneak into the enemy ranks and kidnap the main leader. This is fairly custom for dragons to do, kidnap the leaders of the other tribes. Mostly, though, they'd be released within a day and the war would be over. Not in this case. In this case, the dragon sent the other leader dragon, which was a giant, rather rotund, red dragon with white spikes around its neck, resembling a beard, to one of the other dragons to torture her. But before we get to that dragon, we'll discuss this particular one. As a Hydra, it has multiple heads, and these heads do not tend to get along. They also look quite different from each other, with different horn structures on each head. Adding to all of this strangeness, the 3 heads tend to have this weird covering on their faces that acts like a helmet, and some claims have stated that they are removable, sort of like masks. Don't know if there's quite anything else. They are on the smaller side of dragons, and the 3 heads do often tend to butt heads with each other. Get it? It's a pun. Get it? Because never mind. And my coworkers tell me I'm not that funny. I disagree greatly. They also have a particularly weird tail structure that resembles a bear trap. Yep. This is all connected through one body here, which, it's a Hydra, but what else do you want from me? Now, the last dragon was indeed the dragon they sent to guard the rival leader dragon. This dragon was again fairly rotund and had several unique qualities. It was debated for years whether or not this dragon was tan or bright fluorescent green, as several appearances of this dragon were different colors. It was then revealed that this dragon simply had the ability of bioluminescence and glowed green. It also has the ability to rapidly shed its skin, often leaving behind, often giving it a baggy appearance. And it also has the unique quality of whenever it eats a person or animal, that person's body becomes a part of its own body, creating more or less a giant hive mind. So I would recommend not getting eaten by it. Like I said, though, not going to be much of an issue now that it's been killed. Oh, did I not mention? Yeah, this thing is dead. When it tried to, torture the rival red dragon, which we've recently come up with the name of the northern clawed dragon. When it tried to attack and kill it, it was immediately attacked by both members of the rival tribe and its own. Its skin was ripped off, and all of the body parts just flew out of it and were boiled alive in lava. So, very disgusting death in all fair opinion. But anyway, so that's it for today. Any other dragons you would like to discuss, leave them in the comments below.